man stands alone in a dimly lit room. The light comes in thin slices, cutting through wooden blinds, casting shadows against the wall. He rubs his hands together, nervous, reflective. Outside of this room, his life appears full, rich in people, conversations, purpose. But inside it is different. Inside, he stands before shadows only he can see. They are the shadows of every moment he wished he could take back, every word spoken in haste, every truth shunned in favor of comfort. These are not just mistakes, these are echoes of himself he cannot yet accept. This is the echo we all face, though rarely admit to. So often, when we criticize another, we are merely projecting onto them the very shadows we run from within ourselves. A universal human impulse, one Jesus described simply and profoundly. He spoke not as a judge, but as a guide, inviting mankind to a reckoning with its own nature. And so arises our central question: what does it mean to own our shadows instead of casting them upon others? As we embark on this exploration, the evidence begins to gather, an assemblage of stories, histories, and poignant truths. Among them, psychologists outline what they term projection. It is a defense mechanism, they say, a subconscious art of blaming others while oblivious to our own faults. In a bustling cafe, listen carefully as conversations fill the air. It's always her problem, not mine. His responsibility, not mine. But behind each pointed finger lies a deeper truth, the mirrors we refuse to look into. Every community, every belief system harbors stories of deflection and denial. They appear benign, yet their roots are deeply entrenched within us. But why do we project so easily? It's comfortable, seductively simple. Turning towards oneself, in contrast, is a task laced with discomfort. Accepting responsibility means seeing oneself not through rose-colored glasses, but in raw, sometimes unsettling clarity. Studies show those brave enough to look, truly look, tend to find transformation. As a painter faces a blank canvas, so too must we face the void of our own missteps and learn. And then there is the teachings of Jesus, a spiritual perspective shining light where psychology dares to dig deeper. Jesus' teachings focused on acceptance and forgiveness, imploring man's sin not as a damnation, but a beginning, a canvas painted with the colors of human imperfection, seeking redemption. For all have sinned, echo the sacred texts, yet the whisper within them invites not despair, but hope. A hope that through recognition comes growth, through forgiveness, liberation. Is it that simple? In our investigation, the contradiction emerges. We see sin as final, but what if it is simply a stage? The finality comes not in the act itself, but in the refusal to confront it. Miles, a recovering addict, shares, "Facing my own mistakes was the hardest thing I've done, but projecting them onto others, it stole my humanity." Like Miles, many others have walked the same path, finding that true strength comes from within, from the courage to lift the veil on one's own darkness. Here at the turning point, we pause. The investigation takes an unexpected turn. A hard truth, unearthed, a paradox holds sway. In shining a light on our darkness, we find strength. In acknowledging our failings, we discover the path to forgiveness. It's a heaviness that clarifies, that breaks open the sky. Facing our shadows does not condemn us. It is, in fact, the seed of our liberation. As one sees the wrongs as a pivoting point of connection, to grow within oneself as the light indeed rises above the shadows. And the music shifts. We come to the reckoning. What does this mean for each of us right now, beyond the auditory experience? We stand at a crossroads of action and inaction. To continue hiding would mean to live indefinitely beneath a cloud of our own making. But to emerge, to expose, to face ourselves, this is the life force of growth. The abyss of hidden emotions no longer traps us, but instead releases us into the possibility of becoming whole. Imagine a world where each person opens their heart to the melody of their own truth, where acceptance rolls over guilt and learning tempers error. We meet our missteps not with disdain, but as a forge by which better versions of ourselves take shape. Living free from deflection begins not as a chorus of grand proclamations, but as a quiet, steadfast personal revolution. So, viewer, we leave you here, at the foot of this challenge. What will shadows do when confronted with light? They disappear. They dissolve back into nothingness, making way for what is truly nascent, the emergence of insight, of light, perhaps a measure of grace. Now, as the light from that room fades, we're left with a single resonant notion. Our wrongs do not define us. It is the courage with which we greet them that determines who we are meant to be. The man with the sliced sunlight lets out a sigh, his hands untwist, resting at his sides. It is time to rise, time to be better, time to step into the future, each step healing the past, each step breaking into light. In the next phase of our exploration, we venture deeper into the effect this daring confrontation with past misdeeds has on individuals, and by extension, on society at large. Chronicling the stories of those who have faced their shadows head-on, we encounter a tapestry of human resilience and the complexities of redemption. First, we meet Amy, a young woman whose life was once entrapped by her own poor choices, a labyrinth of deceit and regret. Just a year ago, Amy found herself at a crossroads, haunted by her past. Through participation in a restorative justice program, Amy began the slow but sure journey to untangle the darker threads of her history. Instead of allowing guilt to paralyze her, Amy chose to meet it with honesty. Her story, like many others, unveils the potential of transformational change when individuals take accountability and strive to make amends. I felt like I was in a confined space with no way out, Amy confides, her eyes betraying both past sorrow and present hope. But as I tapped into the courage to face what I had done, I found strength in vulnerability. Every apology, every restitution effort, chipped away at the prison I had built for myself. Her journey towards self-forgiveness and acceptance highlights a crucial dynamic, that redemption is not merely an act of self-liberation, but a process that reverberates, affecting the lives of those around us and potentially entire communities. We see further evidence of this in the community of Northside, a neighborhood once synonymous with historical cycles of crime and recrimination, but now hailed as a model of renewal. Following the establishment of a grassroots initiative focusing on rehabilitation and reintegration of former offenders, Northside has undergone a remarkable transformation. The initiative pairs returning citizens with local mentors, focusing not only on skills training and employment, but also on the deeper work of reconnecting and giving back to the community. Paul, a local shop owner, shares his experience. There was a time when distrust was rampant here. You worried about your neighbor's intentions. But now, things are changing. When previous offenders are welcomed and given the chance to contribute positively, they add layers to this community's fabric. Northside stands as a testament to how collective efforts to spotlight the potential for change, rather than solely the blemishes of the past, forge a more cohesive and empathetic environment. As we chart the individual and community narratives that exemplify daring and constructive engagements with past mistakes, a pattern begins to emerge, one of gradual illumination. Each step towards acknowledgement and repair acts like a prism refracting light into our collective path, guiding us toward a society more capable of handling the foibles of our human condition with grace, understanding, and above all, an unwavering belief in the capacity to change. In turning towards the light, we learn to separate the action from the individual, understanding that empathy and trust can build bridges stronger than judgment ever could. In exploring such narratives, we are reminded that the path to redemption, though fraught with difficulty, is paved with promise, igniting a beacon of hope for those willing to embark on its arduous journey.